Hey, 7th grade. So this week we've been talking about how Rome keeps expanding and expanding. We just talked about the Punic Wars. Remember this, the rivals, Rome versus Carthage. We watched those videos in class about Hannibal and his challenge to Rome and how he ended up coming up short. You did have those video questions that we did in class, or if you weren't able to attend the lessons and watch together, there was an alternative video on YouTube. Same questions. I did collect those for points, so please get those back to me as soon as they're done. If you need help on them, email me or pull me aside. I'll help you out. But today we're going to talk about what happened to Rome after those wars. So what we see is there's going to be some changes in Rome's government and their economy, the way they make money, because of the wars. One of those changes is Rome. Up before the Punic Wars, Rome versus Carthage, it was a lot of small farms. Most people in Rome were farmers. Okay? But what's going to happen is there's going to be a combination of those small farms. We'll see why in a second. But basically, those small farms are going to be replaced by really big farms. They're then going to start using slaves to do the farming. And then farmers are going to be out of jobs. So they're going to end up having to move somewhere to find jobs. So they move to the cities like Rome. And then we're going to see that the politics and government and relationships between people in Rome start to change. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at today. So one of the things that happens is these small farms that were all over Rome, lots of people, most people were farmers, they get replaced by very large estates called latifundias. And basically, they started to produce lots of crops, sheep, cattle, all kinds of things to sell in the cities, but also to sell to other places in the world, do lots of trading. So less and less people in Rome are growing food for themselves. Instead, they're having to buy it from these big super mega farms. Okay? And if the big super mega farms didn't make it, they had to buy it from somewhere else, like Sicily or North Africa. And so there's less people doing the farming, and so now we've got people looking for work. Okay, so this is what a latifundia would have looked like. Okay, a big, large estate owned by some rich people, some patricians, who would have brought in slaves to do the farming for them. Okay, and then they would have sold the food for profit. Okay, now this all changed largely because of Hannibal. Hannibal came in, and remember how the Romans were hiding inside their city? They didn't want to fight him; they were scared of him, and he was trying to anger them and get them worked up. So he actually started burning fields and farms and buildings to try to get the Romans to come out from hiding. Well, they didn't. And now they have all these damaged, destroyed farms. Well, the farmers come back to their fields, and they don't have the money to fix them up because they're just poor farmers. They're plebeians. Okay? They can't fix the farms. So, what are they going to do? Well, they need money, they need jobs, they got to do something. The patricians come in, wealthy people, rich people, and they start buying the farms. Okay? They say, oh, you don't have money to fix up your farm? I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? You got to eat. You got to put food on the table. So why don't you sell me your farm? I'll give you money for your farm. So the rich people, they start buying all the small farms and combining them into very big farms. Now, this wouldn't be such a bad idea, okay, if the patricians then turned around and gave the plebeians jobs, working and growing the food. But here's the thing. As the Romans get bigger and they start to capture other civilizations and other cities, they start to get more slaves, more prisoners of war. And they start using them on the farms. So now they don't have to pay them because they're slaves, remember? Remember, slavery in the ancient world, like Rome and Greece, it's based largely on money. Okay, so if you were a poor family, you might end up being sold into slavery, or it's based on war, right? So in Rome's case, they are capturing prisoners of war, enemy soldiers, forcing them to be slaves. And that's where the free labor is coming from. So remember, okay, this guy Hannibal comes in with his war elephants and he terrorizes the Romans. He ends up burning lots of farms and cities and fields, but he ends up losing, right? Then afterwards, the farmers, they sell their land. If there are jobs on these new mega farms, great, but a lot of times there's not because they're bringing in slaves. So they have to move to the city to look for work. Now, when they move to the cities, a lot of times they're very crowded. Okay, there's not enough fresh water for everybody. They don't have sewage systems. They don't have garbage collection. So there's wastes, human feces in the street, trash everywhere. There's mice and rodents and pests and insects everywhere. They are in constant danger of fires. Okay, buildings collapsing because construction wasn't that great. There's disease because it was dirty. Okay, and there's no real jobs in the city except for construction. Okay, so unless you have those construction skills and can find a job there, you kind of get to the city. It's not great there, and you still don't have a job. You still don't have any money. So life was pretty tough in the city. This is a modern day picture of Rome. Now, it is very nice, okay, especially in some of the historic districts in Rome. You can go there and visit and be a tourist. But I just wanted to kind of show you, look how crowded these buildings are. Look how tight the streets are, okay, how many apartments are kind of stacked on top of each other. And this is in modern times, right, with modern garbage disposal, modern sewage, okay, quality construction, fire departments. They didn't have that back then. Okay, so it would have been this crowded, but the city would not be as nice. Okay, in fact, this is what their apartment buildings often look like. Okay, there would have been blocks and blocks and blocks of buildings that could potentially catch on fire, are dirty. There's trash, human waste, and feces. It's crowded. They're collapsing. So it's just tough life there. Okay, when they moved to the city. Now, folks, I'm going to introduce your next project. Your next project is potential for partner work. You can do this individually if you want, or you can do it with a partner. Now, if we're in school, in class, you will just have to social distance. Make sure you keep your 6 feet while you're talking and working. That's fine. Or if you want to do it individual, that's fine as well. We're doing it virtually. Totally fine to find a partner. Okay, you can hit them up on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever you use to chat. You can do it via email, Google Docs, however you want to collaborate. It's fine. But basically what you're doing, okay, if you have the paper version, it looks like this. There's a description here. There is a rubric down here. You can find that also on Canvas, okay, on the Canvas page for today. Basically what you're doing is there's going to be 2 roles. You're writing a script. There's 2 roles. One is a farmer who has to sell their farm and move to the city. That farmer, in the script, in the conversation, has to describe 3 reasons why they have to move, why they can't live on their farm anymore. They're talking to their cousin, who's pretending to be a real estate agent in the city. Okay, real estate agents, people who help people find homes. Okay, sell them homes, find apartments for them, that kind of thing. So, on one hand, you've got the farmer who needs to leave and has to come up with 3 reasons why they have to leave, based on the notes, based on the Nearpod we just looked at. And the other person in the conversation, they're the cousin. They're the real estate agent. They need to convince them why they should move to the city or what it's like when they get there. Now, that's the challenging part, because we know the city of Rome, not that great of a spot right now. It's kind of tough to live there. So you might have to twist things and make them sound a little more positive, right? So, for example, a student last year, they said, oh, there's not enough drinking water. Well, let me spin that, right? So in their conversation, the farmer cousin said, well, I heard there's not enough water to drink. The real estate cousin said, our water tastes so good, we run out of it so fast, oh, you want to come and get some of this water, right? So they twisted it, tried to make it sound a little positive. So you might have to do some of that, okay? You can do this on Google Docs. You can do this on an email, on a piece of paper. You can do this, record a video, right? Record a conversation. However you want to do it is totally fine with me, okay? If you have questions or get stuck on how to write this script, let me know. Send me an email, pull me aside. I'll help you out, okay? I don't think I have any more suggestions for you. So if you get stuck or need help, please let me know, and I'm here for you. All right, folks. Good luck.